first things first, they got to get to the tournament. But last night, an amazing win against Boise State. Joining us right now, Aztecs assistant coach Dave Velasquez. So, Coach, before we talk about tomorrow's matchup, let's get back to last night's matchup. Just give us a sense of the team heading into the overtime after blowing a 17-point second half lead. What was the mentality? Because obviously in the overtime, you got things right and really dominated the overtime. But what was the attitude of the team late in that regulation?
Well, first and foremost, again, you got to credit Boise State. I mean, there's no question that we had a 17-point lead that evaporated, over time, but they really made some shots. We felt like we were defending at still a pretty high level. I mean, they're making step-back threes from behind NBA range. So going into overtime, I think we were most disappointed was about how we finished that last minute of the game. But with that being said, our team still plays with confidence. They still really share the ball. They had that look in their face of determination and that we're going to find a way to win this game. And to be honest, you could argue that the basketball all game was in overtime on both ends of the floor. I mean, we were hitting on all cylinders. Shackle made a huge three that really helped us get going in that overtime. And again, proud of our guys, proud of our effort. Never expected it to be easy, and Boise State is a very, very good team.
Coach, I know you never want to get comfortable as a team, but as a fan, you do get a little comfortable. 8-game win streak. We knew Boise State was going to be a challenge. It was going to be a little differently, but I felt some normalcy last night. I was actually yelling at my TV. My kids and my wife were looking at me like, oh, Dad's back to like where he was before this little win streak got together. It's you talk about halftime speeches, what the message is at the halftime, but you have a shorter time to go from second half to overtime, and you guys just turned it around. Talk us through that. How does that change so quickly?
Well, again, I think it's senior leadership. It's guys that have been there before. It's guys that don't panic. It's guys that we talked about this a lot in terms of who Coach Dutcher is and who we try to be as a staff, but most importantly, who our players are as people. And they're not overly high and overly low. They're not front runners. That's one thing about our team that we really take a lot of pride in is that we're not front runners. We're making every shot, that doesn't mean we're going to defend. When we're getting stops, that doesn't mean that we're going to go play selfish on the opposite. No, we play good basketball. We try to play a brand of winning basketball at all times. And to have a group that can kind of just take a deep breath in the moment, been there before, again, veteran team, great leadership out of Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle throughout the whole season, but especially in those times, even in the time, again, it gives you a sense of confidence even as their coach, but again, as their teammate, to go in knowing that you're going to go into overtime and hopefully play well, which we did.
Yeah, on the other side, Derek Alston Jr., this guy was making shots. What do you do when you have somebody on the other team that just literally is making everything? What were you trying to do to slow him down, and how difficult is that when you just run into a buzzsaw where one guy just can't miss?
I thought we did a fantastic job on him in the first half, and in the second half, we let him get a couple really easy looks to get going, and that's something that we can improve on tomorrow's game. However, with games like that, when guys are shooting that well, all you can try to do is give them different looks, but at the same time, still take away their strengths, which I thought we did for the most part. He's a great driver. He can really play. He only got down a couple of times. He ended up making 6 threes. That's a big game for him. And to be honest, we've seen it with Derek Alston before. I believe it was 2 years ago where I think he had 34 points when we played them at Boise State. He's a very good player. He's probably one of the highest players on the draft boards for the NBA in our league. And when a guy gets going like that, all you try to do is continue to try to make them uncomfortable because obviously they're in a very good rhythm, and you tell them to stay in rhythm.
Aztec assistant Dave Velasquez with us on the morning show. Both the Aztecs and the Broncos play again tomorrow afternoon. You'll hear it right here beginning at 12 o'clock with the pregame show. John Schaefer, Jim Russell, Ted Leitner with the call at 1 o'clock. Coach, on Derek Alston there, I was watching the TV broadcast at the time, and Doug Gottlieb said late first half when you guys were on that roll, but Alston made a shot, and obviously him being a basketball guy and playing the sport, he picked up on it. He goes, now there's a shot right there by Alston. That's the kind of shot that can get his team going. Now, I didn't see that, but as a coaching, do you see that? Do you see that thing formulating in a guy like that?
Yes, because you've seen it so many times on film, and he is a really, really good player. And and we've had a lot of really, really good players throughout the years, and that how it feels, how it looks when a guy, all he needs to see is one go down. And once he sees one go down in rhythm, then you start to go as a coach. And even our guys are like, oh, no. I mean, he can get going now. And it's one of those things you just have to step up and meet a challenge. And like I said, you got to keep him out of rhythm and know that he's going to keep coming. He's going to continue to shoot the ball. I mean, that's what makes good players good is they don't waver by how, the first half went or how the last few possessions. They just continue to play their game. And again, I thought our guys did a very, very good job on keeping them off balance. I mean, I went home last night. I watched the film, and the biggest thing for me that I saw is there was 5 guys defending their butts off. I mean, you got to credit Boise State for some shots they made. There's a lot of things we got to shore up. Little things. How we're going to handle their press. We didn't do a very good job against their press. How are we going to handle getting the ball in bounds with the lead? At the end of the game, we got to change up, do something different, practice it more. I mean, we got things to clean up. But to me, for the most part, our defense made it hard for them to score. And like I said, the shots that they were making were, you go back and watch. I mean, there's a lot of shots. You pause the film. I mean, they're shooting step-back threes beyond the NBA line. And, again, credit to them. They made a lot of tough shots last night. But our guys, they were fantastic, I thought, for all 45 minutes and on having a good sense of confidence about them staying together. And I thought we did a wonderful job rebounding, which was the key to the game. It was the number one key on the board. It's all we talked about all week was we have to find a way to out-rebound this team. And if we out-rebound, we will win. Luckily, last night, we out-rebounded. We won the game.
We talk about senior leadership all the time. That has been a trademark going back to Coach Fisher, and obviously the same with Dutch. And Matt Mitchell, Jordan Shackle, obviously been getting a lot of attention. But Trey Pulliam has been an amazing story. He started every game. Obviously a former JC transfer, key guy off the bench a year ago. But the last couple of games, what's going on? I mean, 18 points against Fresno State, 18 last night against Boise State. He's always been one of those guys that contributes in a lot of different ways to the team. Don't necessarily show up on the score sheet, but this sudden scoring barrage by Trey. I mean, what's going on here, and how does that change the dynamic of your offense now that he is producing so much more on the offensive end?
Yeah, we're excited about Trey and what he's doing, and to be honest, we're not very surprised at all. I mean, again, I think I might even said this when he was struggling a little bit early. I mean, you guys got to think, last year at Utah State, I believe he had 16 points, and that was supposed to be the big game. I believe it was early January. We were undefeated at the time. Last year, 17 points. Last year at UNLV, he had 18 points or something around that. And so, we kind of expected Trey to be where he's at maybe a little earlier in the season from a coaching staff standpoint. But really, again, Coach Dutcher talked about it after the Fresno game. Trey just needed to have a little bit more confidence in himself that what he's able to do at practice, the shots he's making in our early morning workouts that we have every day, that he's going to be able to apply those in games. And now we're starting to see it. You can almost see it in his eyes. I'm sure you guys can feel it through the TV. There's a certain sense of confidence and energy behind him now that's really, really helping us. And when you ask, what does it do for our offense? It makes us a lot harder to guard, to be honest. I mean, there's so many times where these guys aren't leaving. The defense is not leaving Jordan Shackle open. They're not leaving Terrell Gomez open. They're not allowing Adam Seiko to get a catch-shoot three. And they're basically saying, Trey Pulliam's going to have to beat us. And what Trey has done a really good job is continue to be aggressive and be who he is, which is a phenomenal passer, not turn the ball over. But now he's added this element of scoring that has just made him a dynamic player. And again, within our locker room, he's never gone underappreciated. I feel like a little bit from the fans and the people around our program, he might not be as appreciated as he is within our locker room, but we love what Trey has done. He's one of our best defenders, and offensively, he's now starting to come to his own. And again, he's got a confidence about him that we can continue to roll with, and we expect to see a lot more of this. This is not the 1 or 2 off games. I mean, we expect Trey to play like this night in and night out.
Coach, real quickly, going into Saturday's game tomorrow, there was some question about Lamont Butler. Last night, was the game moving a little too fast for him?
You know what? Lamont is phenomenal. I mean, and he tried as best he could to pay attention in practice. But it's already hard enough to be a true freshman and out there. But to me, just a little bit out of rhythm. And also, he had not practiced all week going up into that game. We didn't even know he was going to play until shoot-around. And he's a warrior. He gutted it out. He tried to go. But I thought he gave us, spot minutes at times. He still got downhill, missed a couple easy ones. And but, again, Lamont was, not being able to practice this week. You could kind of see it a little bit. However, played great defense again, found a way to get to the rim. But, again, I wouldn't say the game was moving too fast. I would just say he's a little bit out of rhythm. Just no practicing since really early Mondays when that calf strain happened.
9 straight wins. All you can ask is, can we control our own destiny? That's where the Aztecs are right now. Win out, and at the very least, they will share a Mountain West Conference championship. Coach, good luck tomorrow night. Congrats on last night's win. Let's keep it going.
Yes, sir. Thank you, boys. Go Aztecs.